Welcome, Riddell Sports Network. I'm Dan, and a little bit of a Yankees podcast today. Boys will be back. We'll be doing this Friday for our normal weekly podcast where we'll recap the trade deadline, that good stuff. So the trade deadline this year, Thursday, so we'll be Friday, August 1st. And we have a little bit of Yankees news, so I figured this is going to be basically 20 minutes. First things first, the biggest news is Aaron Judge is injured. Missed yesterday's game against the Phillies, and he's 10-day IL with a flexor strain. Concern is a potential UCL situation where he would need Tommy John surgery, but that is not the issue at this point. So here's the problem. The problem that the Yankees have had ever since 2018 when they traded for the injury-prone Giancarlo Stanton. And if you've listened to this show for more than 10 minutes, you know I've been yelling from the rooftops for the Yankees to, move Judge to DH for, at minimum, if it was up to me, Judge would play 81 home games in right field for the fans, and he would play 81 road games at DH. You could obviously shift that a little bit, but if I was in charge, that's what it would be. Because it's hard for the fans. Like, a lot of those people buy those close seats in right field, which aren't cheap, to see Judge, to interact with Judge every half inning. So I think it's important that he stays out there for those games. But if he spent half the season at DH, literally half, and I know it would suck for like the Yankees fans because the Yankees travel well. It would suck for them, but it'd be worth it. You got to keep this guy. He's the best hitter on the planet. Name one hitter better. You can't. So you throw average combined with home runs, and there's nobody better. So go ahead. Do your best. Let me know in the comments who's a better hitter right now than Aaron Judge. Say Shohei Ohtani, so help me. So he's on the 10-day IL minimum, and they say they want to bring him back as a DH temporarily, which I think that word is very dangerous. Temporarily. Why? Why do you care about Giancarlo Stanton so much? You have 3 days. Today's July 27th. You have, 4 days to move this guy. Trade for a defensive outfielder. I don't care who it is. A fast defensive outfielder. Really, you don't need to trade for an outfielder, though. Because what you do, you go left, Bellinger in left, Trent Grisham in center, Dominguez in right. Dominguez is a bad outfielder defensively. So put him in that short, obviously just for home games, but that short right field. Less room to screw up. So that's what I would do. And then I'm going to talk about a couple Yankees transactions that they made over the last couple days to try and fill those voids on the left side of the infield, because that's what they are. Talk about the errors that they made. I got a few of the games pulled up here. They've been a tough watch defensively, and the pitching is really bad. And it has been a rough stretch because you're losing to like the Blue Jays. I don't want to hear that the Blue Jays are good. They are overrated as hell. They play just within the margins, and it's going to come back to bite them. Now, the bad part about that, if you're a Yankees fan, is that the Blue Jays are kind of set up well for the postseason. So I think they're going to be a little bit of a dangerous team. I don't think they're World Series contenders, but I do think that they're going to make some noise. It would not surprise me to see them in the ALCS. So the Yankees, the two important ones here are traded Josh Gross and Griffin Herring, two pitchers, a righty and a lefty, to the Colorado Rockies for Ryan McMahon. Now, I already feel bad for these two pitchers going to Colorado because those ERAs will be bloated, whether they do well or not. But I think this was a very good trade because you keep all the guys that you were worried about trading. I think that the Diamondbacks, whoever ends up getting Eugenio Suarez, the Diamondbacks are going to end up fleecing them a bit. And it was good for the Yankees to keep Spencer Jones, to keep Cam Schlittler, and a couple of the other guys that they were worried about hanging on to. So I think that's a good move because in terms of average, Ryan McMahon's batting average is pretty low. It's pretty bad. But defensively, so he's an upgrade offensively, even at 218 at third base, because what's his name? I want to call him Oswaldo Cabrera, but it's Oswald Peraza. He is real bad. So 218 up from 152 is pretty good. So defensively, Peraza is pretty solid, but it's kind of a wash defensively because McMahon is a good defensive third baseman. And I think he can play first as well if, I know they have a logjam over there, but forbid any injuries to Goldschmidt or Ben Rice, I think you have him as a potential backup first baseman. So, yeah, he's decent. I want to see that batting average come up. If he ends the season at like 230, 240, that means he played really well in the second half because he's already kind of digging himself out of a hole. So I think that's a very, very good move for the Yankees because Eugenio Suarez is batting, I believe it's like 250. He has 38 home runs, but he's another guy that just not a good defender. And he's just another guy that kind of wouldn't help the overall problem. The problem right now is defense and pitching. It's not the hitting, even with Oswald Peraza batting 150, whatever it was. So he's looking like maybe the Phillies for Suarez, and we'll get to the trade deadline rumors from CBS Sports in a second, but it doesn't look like the Mets are in on him, so he might be a Phillies bound. Because Alec Boehm, I don't know how long Boehm is out, but they're rotating a couple of guys in Phillies to fill the gap. And the Yankees also trade for Ahmed Rosario. And again, I thought this guy's first name was Brown at first, but it's an M. Braum Martinez, a center fielder. He's an 18-year-old guy. And Clayton Beater, who we've seen a couple of times for Ahmed Rosario. Now, what's his claim to fame? Well, he's a utility man who can play, and I think he can play any position but catcher if memory serves. He's batting 270. So if you think about it, you want to throw him at short and Ryan McMahon at third, you're already, increasing your defense. And 270 is quite respectable. He only has 148 at-bats this year as compared to 377 because he's kind of a do a little bit of everything kind of guy, which they had in the guy that they had from the Red Sox that they cut, and I can't remember his name, but Pablo Reyes, who was like terrible at everything, but he could play everywhere, just not very good. But Rosario, on the other hand, is, here you go, shortstop, second base, and outfield. So that's what you need, especially with Judge. If he can play solidly at those positions, just don't make errors. You don't have to get to every ball and just be a vacuum over there. Just the errors gotta stop. The errors are out of control. The Yankees are not done, though. If they want to be in this season, they have to. They must. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They have to get pitching. Now, they can either go two bullpen arms. They need two pitchers, I think. You have Luis Gil coming back at some point, I guess. Supposed to be back at some time in August. So that's an arm. But you either need two bullpen guys or a reliever and a starter. I'm telling you right now, listen, Brian Cashman, I know you listen to the podcast. I appreciate it. He's a subscriber, and by the way, if you would like to join Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone as subscribers, then feel free to hit the button. But Will Warren, if you recall back to 2009, Phil Hughes pitched brilliantly out of the bullpen. because they had a logjam at starter. If you can snag a starter and a reliever and move Will Warren to the pen, I think you got something there, because that dude throws absolute gas. He gets into trouble when he loses control, but maybe on limited sample sizes, he throws an inning every game, or maybe two. Could be dangerous. He could be an awesome addition to a bullpen that is in desperate need, because this bullpen is miserable. Every single game. Check out this Blue Jays one. 3 scoreless. 2, 2, 2, 2. It's just every single time we watch these guys, they are brutal. And this one, I brought this one up. So I'm looking at the last 3 games. This one was Wednesday. Yankees, Blue Jays. Rubber match, and of course they lose it. But brutal to watch. 4 errors. At one point they had 4 hits and 4 errors. It was absolutely miserable. Even Max Fried made an error, who's the Gold Glover. But when I watch them, Volpe aside, because Volpe's just lawn darting balls, just throwing them into the dirt, and he's lucky. He's got 13 errors this year. If he didn't have Paul Goldschmidt, he'd probably have 25. No joke. And Dave watches more Yankees games than I do. I've probably seen about 60% of the Yankees games so far. But Dave, I would bet anything Dave's seen 95% of them. So Goldschmidt saves a lot of those balls, but with Chisholm, he made a stupid error. Max Fried was trying to do, it just feels like they're trying to do too much. It's hard to watch sometimes. Chisholm makes a catch. He jumps in like Jeter throws it from second. But he throws it behind Guerrero, who he's trying to double up, and it goes between Rice's legs, and Guerrero gets to second. I believe he ended up coming around to score. It's so hard to watch these guys. I don't know why they're trying to do as much as they're doing, but you have the Blue Jays, who nobody except Guerrero like jumps off the screen at you. Bobichet's playing well, 281, and Springer, who always tears up the Yankees, is playing well. Other than that, nobody. Oh, I can't stand this guy. It's Kirk. Lord. But the Blue Jays are cruising. They're going to end up winning that division, and the Yankees have plummeted. Think, oh, they're only like 5 or 6 games back, but it's how we got here, and it's recency bias. They had such a huge lead, meaning these last couple months have been miserable. They play the Phillies and get blown out. Guess what? 2 more errors. Phillies played solid ball. Korver with 2 home runs, and that one was another tough watch, because it was 3-2 going into the 7th. After 6, it was 3-2 Yankees. End up 12-5. That's how miserable this bullpen is. Tim Hill, 2 runs. Weaver, 2 runs. Hamilton, 2. Efros, 4 runs. Not a single Yankee in this entire game went without an earned run. Will Warren pitched well, though. 5 2/3 with two earned runs against the Phillies. The Phillies and the Yankees kind of have the same issues in bullpen. Yankees can make anybody look freaking Greg Maddux. So. And then this most recent game yesterday, 9-4, another error, another just bullpen collapse. Stroman being Stroman, 3 2/3, 4 earned runs. Why is he still on the team? And then this dude throws just an absolutely miserable game. 3 innings, 3 runs, 4 runs, 3 of them earned because of the error. So it's tough to watch. Guys are bad. And guess who they have waiting for them today? So today's game is at 1:35, and it is Carlos Rodon, he had a couple really miserable starts, but other than that, he's been very good against Zach Wheeler, Cy Young contender, absolute machine, Zach Wheeler. See, Carlos Rodon, 10-7, 124 innings with a 3.1 ERA is excellent. I believe his first 2 starts, he had an ERA of like a 6. And he's just been working it, and he was absolute money this last start. Even though the Yankees kept throwing up errors, he kept him in the game. It was against Toronto. He had like a 16 pitch at bat against one of the guys or something crazy like that, just following him off, and he just hung in there. But Wheeler, of course, 9-3, 128 innings, 2.39, 6.5 strikeout, 6 1/3 strikeouts per 9. 0.88 whip. So they're in a lot of trouble here. This has sweep written all over it. And we're gonna look at a couple of the trade deadline rumors around the league. That's in on Sandy Alcantara, a former Cy Young winner, but he's been pretty miserable this year. Coming back from Tommy John surgery, he was incredible last few years. It's strange to me that the Mets want another starter. Here we go. The Mets have a full rotation already. Manaea, Holmes, Peterson, Senga, and Montas. And Montas is not good, so maybe that's why. But you would think, Montas as a 5? Not bad. You would think if you were gonna, get anything, it would be a reliever, because they have a couple really bad relievers. So they are okay. Here we go. That's add reliever, not in on Suarez. So I mean, that's the way you got to go. Padres seek outfield help. Red Sox must be asking too much for Duran, but they offered right-hander Dylan Cease. So the Red Sox, who were disinclined to move Duran at the deadline, obviously said no. Wow. I feel like that would have been a win-win. And I hate the Red Sox, of course, so I wouldn't want to see Dylan Cease over there. But that felt like a win-win right there. This is a weird one. Dalton Rushing, maybe as a backup, which he is currently Will Smith's backup, but it just seems strange because they're so in on that dude, the catcher that they have now. I remember. And then the last one here is Ryan Helsley, who's having a nice season. This is one of the guys that the Yankees should be in on. 3.09 ERA it's not really great for a bullpen pitcher, but it's an upgrade for the Yankees, that's for sure. Dude throws absolute gas. He's money, so maybe if the Yankees went this route, they said, okay, Cardinals, you want to give up Steven Matz and Phil Maton and Ryan Helsley? Give us all to them. Who do you want? You want Volpe? You want Peraza? Want one of these prospects? Give us all 3 guys. That would do quite a bit, honestly. So, well, I think that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back on Friday, August 1st, with trade deadline recap and everything else. So, till then, we'll catch you.